Alright, y'all. So I decided today that I would walk over here to Langon Health and do the whole hospital tour again. Looking for some death and destruction. I feel like, I don't know if you ever watched that movie, Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail, where they're pulling Sir Galahad the Chaste out of that nunnery. And they're saying to him, "Oh, you're in infinite peril." And he says, "Well, couldn't I just have a little bit of peril?" So that's what I'm looking for today. A little bit of death and destruction to, validate destroying the entire world's economy and us giving up our rights. So we're heading here. This is the Hassenfeld Children's Entrance right here, and the Kimmel entrance. I guess the Kimmels are somebody important. Jimmy Kimmel, right? See, we can find a little bit of peril in here, huh? I'm gonna pretend like I'm on the phone, so if this kind of goes to the strange side, that's why. See, well, it's a little busier than it was the other day. You know why? Because they finally maybe started letting people have their normal appointments. There's no big line of people. Nope. Alright, so let's head on over to the emergency room entrance. It's a beautiful day here. I've actually seen less masks. I think it's going to get really warm today. Right now, there's a beautiful wind. It keeps me from sweating myself to death. So here we are, Ronald Old Perelman Center for Emergency Surgery, or Services, sorry. So they got these tents over here and whatever set up, for their BS. Still nobody in there. Crazy. See if we can see anything in here. Yep, see? There's nothing even going on in the emergency room. No line. Jesus Christ. They got a cop standing there, though. So let's talk about Seattle. I was watching about how Autonomous or Antifa has this area of Seattle like roped off. And they put up a sign saying, "No police." And it kind of reminded me of when you're a little kid and you build a fort and you put a sign on there that says "No adults" or "No boys allowed," "No girls allowed." Like, who are these people? Here's another one. Susan and Martin Lipton Hall. Let's go up here. Oh, that's for residents, not an entrance. Bernard and Irene Schwartz program in structural biology. That's probably interesting. So let's look in here again. These are your overwhelmed hospitals, right? With nobody in line, nothing going on. Try not to walk too fast, y'all. I'm bad about that. See in there? Let's just walk this way. Walk in. Walk right back out. See how there's nothing going on in these supposedly overwhelmed hospitals. If this is real, y'all, I'd be dead by now. Like walking around the hospital, no mask on, and I was walking out here when it was cold and raining. See, look at this. It's absolutely nada. Niente. Ничего. Okay, so we're gonna walk on a little bit. I'm gonna go down here by the morgue. Anyways, I was gonna talk about this Antifa bullshit. So you got everybody roped off there with their, you know, no police sign. And I was reading that they're begging for food, you know, because apparently they allowed homeless people in there and the homeless people stole their food, you know, because homeless have been foodless for a while and they know the game, right? They're not stupid. They don't believe in utopia anymore. So they're begging for them to give vegan meat. How autonomous are you and how anti-corporation are you? If you have to have a corporation grow your soybeans and grow your, you know, bamboo cellulose, because that's what's in those fake meat things. You know, in that you can't digest cellulose. That's what's in them. So yeah, you're so free. So here, okay, I'll interrupt myself. This is the area that was where they set up the coroner stuff before. See, I don't think you can see in there. I can see in there. There ain't nothing going on. It's the same as it was before. Actually, maybe we'll go across the street so that we have the sunlight. I like the sun. I'm trying to get some vitamin D today. So anyways, I saw that they were planting a garden there. And, you know, you're just dumb as rocks if you think you're gonna spend, you know, 20,000 calories digging up a plot of land and planting some tomatoes and waiting for them to give you tomatoes once a year. You know, how are you gonna live? You dumb as rocks or what? You can't, you know, they could at least bought some goats and had some goat milk, dumbasses. And let those, you know, let goats and let cattle turn what is indigestible to human beings into something nutritious. You know, you don't need that much animal food. In fact, I live on like not even a pound of meat a day, like a glass of milk. It's pretty much all you need, and I maintain my weight and I'm pretty tall, you know. So yeah, and the police just let him go, and apparently there's some YouTube or Twitter rapper or something that has become the warlord there, which, you know, is like a study in duh. You know, if you're not armed, you're subject to the person who is armed and who is, you know, might makes right. It's just how it is. Like, it's just nature, right? Like, the biggest, meanest lion is the one that's in charge. That's how life goes. And these whiny, freaking leftists can't seem to understand that you need to, like, make yourself into something so that people aren't beating you up. There's another one, Bellevue. Let's see if we can get across the street here. So I'm still a third of the way packed. I need to get it together a little better. I was tired last night, so after working, so I just rested. Seem to be doing better with the warm weather. That cold rain stuff just shuts me down. It's like down for the count. I don't want to do anything. So here you go in this hospital. You see there is the hospital and emergency room entrance inside there. Literally nobody lining up. Well, I'll tell you what, they are on the alert, aren't they, for someone recording. It's funny. You can be essential 1 minute to the government and non-essential the next. I call these types of people, you know, from the Dracula novel Renfield, where Renfield is recruited by Dracula. Actually, pretty much begs him to, you know, feed me, master, teach me, kind of thing. And, you know, that's what you kind of get when you're someone who's a bootlicker. You have to beg this authority figure to give you what you need, and then they never deliver. I mean, Renfield ends up nuts in an insane asylum eating insects and talking about the master's coming, you know, and then the master comes and freaking kills him and doesn't even make him a vampire because he's so weak. And that's basically what our government's, I don't know, Dracula's probably an allegory for what our government is like, or everybody's government is like. So let's go back to Antifa before we get down here by the morgue. So this is, you know, I just ask myself, who's paying for these people? Who's paying them to riot? I mean, do you have time to just take off of work and go hang out in the city and pretend that, you know, you have no responsibilities? If you look at who these people are, it's they all look like college kids who have nothing better to do than to quote unquote riot. So here we are down by the medical examiner, chief of the medical examiner's office here. Once again, we got all the medical examiner. We have more actually. They didn't have any parked here last time. You know, I was walking around today thinking I was going to kind of miss it. That, I don't know, this is a pretty city. It's kind of ghostly here just because, you know, nothing's really going on. It's really weird because, you know, I've only been here, well, this is maybe 3 years. So I was kind of getting used to it by now. But, it's just, it's so quiet when you walk around that it's eerie. You know, it used to be where I was like, oh man, it's so loud here, please save me. And now, I guess I shouldn't have wished for more quiet, because this is for the birds. Alright, so we're gonna go down here and I'm gonna pretend like I'm talking on the phone and like I'm gonna make a right up here and turn around so that we can see all of the FDNY ambulances doing nothing. I mean, I would think if we had a plague that this place would be like body central, don't you think? Walking past their, what do you call it? That's their auto shop. Anyways, this has all been a big psyop. Now you think about it. You got these people who just hold themselves up in Seattle, call themselves autonomous. Obviously somebody's paying them. Ooh, I can't go this way. Oops. I thought I could make a right down there, but I can't. Alright, we're gonna walk back this way. So, you know, you got these people with autonomous just declaring this, and then you've got no police, right? Defund the police. You got the the Minneapolis City Council declaring that they're going to defund the police. I mean, you're going to just defund the police instantly for one guy who supposedly was killed? I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever, right? Because the police have been killing us all, black, white, red, purple, pink, for years. So all of a sudden, how come this one guy is so special? Right? So you see the scam. So they vote to defund the police, but this is really the purpose, is to bring in the UN police. And it'll be the federal police probably before the UN police. They want to have problem, reaction, solution, like they always do. And they're just messing with us. It's pretty ridiculous. So we're getting ready to go make a left up here and go by the VA hospital. They got the voting booth set over there. I don't know who's voting for what, because whenever you vote, you just get the more of the same. One side talks about things how leftists like it. The other side, you know, talks tough how the Republicans like it. And we all end up getting screwed over and getting less rights no matter who is in power. Basically, if you're voting for who you want to read the teleprompter to you for the next 4 years. You know, who is the best looking or who has the nicest voice? That's what you're voting for. Who do you admire? Who is put up as being the richest or the poorest? Who's the champion of the poor while he lives in his mansion? He's the champion of the poor. I was watching another guy on YouTube last night, a guy called Old Dog New Tricks, and he was telling a story about how he and his mother had gone into the local deli there in their town. I think he lives in Washington State, he said. And he was telling this story that he and his mother go in their local deli, which hasn't required masks this whole time. And then all of a sudden, you have to have a mask. And I mean, they were harassing him, and he said, you know, I have a medical condition that keeps me from wearing a mask. And they were still like, we're not serving you. And like, so his mother put on that face shield, you know, looks like you're about to go, you know, defuse a bomb. One of those face shields. And so she got the sandwiches or whatever, and she was trying to pay for them, and they were standing in line, and they were refusing to even let her pay for the sandwiches. And both these people were like, you know, we know you. Like, we've been living in your town for years, and you're acting like this? I don't know. It's like an infection of quote-unquote Karens. I don't necessarily like using words like that, like taking someone's name and making it into like a racial slur, like Becky or Karen, making, you know, can I talk to the manager? I don't really like doing that kind of thing. I don't think it's really, you know, or calling someone Tyrone. I mean, I just think it's kind of rude. I don't know. I'm not an SJW, but come on, man. It's kind of rude to take, especially it's like someone's name, like they can't change it. You know. So, anyways, that's just my thought on it. It's kind of mean. We could be a little more creative and think of a better name or a better word for something than to basically make someone's name into a slur. It's kind of mean. But we do it all the time, like John or Richard, Dick, you know. So this is the VA ambulance here, entrance. Nothing going on. Per usual. They canceled my appointment the other day. I was actually supposed to be on the 11th, and they called me through a video appointment, and they were like, we'll have the doctor call you with video appointment. I'm like, I get injections in my spine. How are you going to do this over the phone or over the video? Matt, you going to like send me a hypodermic needle and a bottle of Procaine and teach me how to inject myself? Is that what you want? I mean, I could probably do it, but come on. This is absolutely retarded. So we'll go over here to the VA hospital entrance. I was reading a good article last night that was saying that, you know, the guy named Koch, K-O-C-H, he was a scientist back in like the 1800s that invented Koch's postulates. And, you know, the coronavirus meets none of them. And, you know, you would think that people who studied science might have remembered that. You know, like this virus hasn't been isolated. It hasn't been proven to cause any disease, human to human. It doesn't meet any of the postulates. So that's how you know that it's not real. And like, that's why I always said, if the enemy is real, it cannot be controlled. And everything in this reality is about control. Controlling you, controlling your thoughts, controlling what you will do, controlling how you feel. Because they want your loosh, they want your energy. See, this is cool because over on the other side here is the water. I don't know if you can see it. That's the one nice thing about Manhattan. It's water on both sides, at least in the summertime. In the wintertime, it makes it pretty frigid. That's why I think it always feels colder here and warmer because of the humidity. But where I'm moving, it's both cold and really hot, hotter than here. And actually, it tends to get colder there too for some reason. I don't know why. You would think Texas would not get that cold, but we would be under 0 degrees and we get these awful ice storms there where the trees are just covered in ice. And it actually looks really pretty because it looks like they're coated in glass, but then they start leaning down over the electrical wires, and you get having trouble, and you can't drive when there's 6 inches of ice on the road. In fact, you never get too much snow in New York City. Now up at West Point, it would snow, at the end of like early November, and it would be snowed over for November to freaking April. That's why we always had to go down to North Carolina or down to Florida on the track team, try to get a good throw in a dry circle or get a good time as a sprinter. It's kind of hard to stay warm when it's super cold like it is at West Point. And then try to make it across here. Sorry for the bouncing because I'm running. So you had to go out and get a good time while you had the chance. Try to stay on the sunny side of the street while it's still not so hot that I have to stay on the shade side. I don't know, I find it interesting. I had a friend that called me yesterday, and she's awake, a lot more awake than I would have expected, right? Like, I would have expected her to think that this was real, right? And in fact, I had argued with her, gosh, this is like in March, that she had a trip down to Florida that she was planning to go on vacation, and I had said to her, she was like, oh, the doctor told me to cancel my plans. And I was like, are you kidding me? Get your arse on that plane, go down to Florida, get some sunlight, and come back. This is bullshit, And I told her then, it's like early March. And she listened to me, thank God, because she was so upset about having to cancel her trip. And she went down, got some sun, and came back. And I was like, see, live your life. Because I was like, what do you want to do? Die alone in your house in New Jersey? Or do you want to go out and have a good time and die down there? Because if this is real, we're all going to die anyways. I said, but if it's not real, you're wasting your life. And, she listened to me, and she magically lived, just like I've been surviving this whole time, walking around in the sleet, in the cold rain, and underdressed, as my mom would always say, because I'm always warmer than everyone else. I don't need as much winter stuff on. My mom's been yelling at me my whole life, put some socks on, put some clothes on, you're gonna freeze to death. I'm like, Mom, hasn't happened yet. I'm like warmer than everyone else, don't you know that? In fact, I'm the one who needs the air conditioning. All right, y'all. I'm going to stop talking. I've probably overdid it for the day. Take care and, live your life, man. Don't let them take your rights away. Peacefully disobey.